Yeah, definitely. Thanks everyone for joining. I think we have most of the people that have registered, so a pretty big number. Just wanted to thank everybody for joining, first of all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I know we're joined by a lot of people from different places, California, Indonesia, Toronto. So thank you everybody for joining. Now, as we start the webinar, I just wanted to let everybody know that this webinar is going to be recorded. So once it's done, you'll be able to come back to it and access the recording whenever you like. I think we can start the recording now then. Okay, perfect. So first, I'd just like to introduce myself. I'm Dennis. I'm going to be the MC. I'm an upper year computer science student at Lassonde. I've also done 12 months of co-op, not as a digital tech student, but I do understand how important it is to have work experience to kind of get to see that side of the world. But not only that, also to be able to make an income and to actually be able to pay off things like tuition, groceries, and other important things like that. Life is more than just school. And so I feel like it's a really good opportunity. So again, even though I'm not a digital tech student, I still kind of have the perspective of a digital tech student in some way, shape, or form. Now, I know the session is virtual and we're not all in the same space at the moment, so I recognize that this land acknowledgement might not be for the territory that all of you are currently on. I do encourage you to acknowledge the traditional territory that you're on and the current treaty holders. We recognize that many Indigenous nations have longstanding relationships with the territories upon which York University campuses are located that precede the establishment of York University. York University acknowledges its presence on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. The area known as Tikaronto has been caretaken by the Anishinaabe nations, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Wendat, and the Métis. It is now home to many Indigenous peoples, and we acknowledge the current treaty holders and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement to peaceably share and care for the Great Lakes region. Now, as we get started, I'll just quickly go through the agenda. So we are joined by Adam, who's going to give us an intro to digital tech session. Adam, do you want to quickly say hi?
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Adam. We're also joined by the lovely Ceridian team. Would you all like to introduce yourselves quickly? Anybody can go first.
Hi, my name is Dmitry Novetsky. Great to be here. Excited to provide some details about Ceridian and about the program.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nitin Reddy, Senior Director of Cybersecurity Operations Team at Ceridian. I'm based out of Halifax, Canada, but currently working from Indonesia as I came here for a short vacation. Looking forward to this conversation. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Hillary Rampy. I'm a cybersecurity analyst here at Ceridian, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about my journey of getting into cybersecurity in the first place. So, yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amit Oj, and I'm lead early talent. Me and my team, we support the strategy and the recruitment side of early talent and new graduates. So very warm welcome, and I'll pass it on to my colleague, Tanvir.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tanvir. It's so nice to be here. I'm one of the early talent recruiters alongside Ramija, who I'll pass it on to.
Thanks, Tanvir. Hey, everyone, I'm Ramija, and I'm one of the early talent interns. I'm also an undergrad student, so I know what it's like being a student, just curious about your next step. So I hope this session answers a lot of your questions.
Great, perfect. Thank you, everyone. Once Ceridian goes through their info session, we're going to open up the floor to Q&A. So we've got the Q&A feature on open. So if anybody has any questions at all throughout the session, please feel free to ask. I will be answering some of the questions throughout the session, but we'll try to take most of them towards the end so everybody can get the questions answered, and hopefully they'll be on the recording too, so everybody else will get the benefit as well. Now, without further ado, I'll pass it on to Adam.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Okay, so I think a lot of you have been in these presentations before, and so you've seen me talk about what digital technologies is. There are some of you who may be viewing this after the fact for the first time, and you haven't seen this presentation, and some of you in this room who maybe have not heard a lot about what the Digital Technologies Program is. So I'm going to go through it fairly rapidly, so that we can turn to sort of the stars of this evening, which is going to be Ceridian and their team to talk about the opportunities there. But in a basic overview, digital technologies is a computer science degree. That's what it is at its core. Students will graduate with a 4-year honors Bachelor of Science. You'll be able to specialize in one of 3 different areas, either software development, cybersecurity analysis, or data science. But you also, and this is a very special part about digital technologies, you're also ending your studies with a contract for a 4-year employment that you've been doing at the same time. So you are going to school at the same time you're working full-time, and we'll talk about what that looks like in just a minute. But it is a model that's been used in several other places internationally. Thousands of students have gone through this kind of process, and it has a lot of advantages, which you can see on the screen there, in terms of where you will end up being when you first get employed out of school. And also, you tend to get a little bit of career development while you're at school, which is something that is really kind of unheard of until the point of these programs. So what are students actually doing? Well, you're full-time employees with our corporate partners. So you are reporting for work 35 to 40 hours a week. And you are getting a standard pay level, usually at the entry level. Students will also learn year-round. So you will get some academic releases. It's going to change depending on the employer and the way in which their program is structured and their work environment structured. And then approximately every 6 weeks, so once or twice a semester, you're going to come back to campus to do an intensive 5 to 10 day, depending on the time of the year it happens, learning block here. At first, we're going to be using some of the York facilities prior to the Markham campus opening. But once the Markham campus is open, you will return to the Markham campus in order to do those in-person blocks. While you're in the classes, we know you're working full time. We're going to work around that. So a lot of it will be asynchronous online learning. If there's any benefit at all to having gone through a global pandemic, it's that we're all kind of familiar with that sort of learning style. If you're coming to high school or if you did any college or university, but we will also be offering synchronous learning that's going to happen in the evenings. Also, we will have some workplace, depending on the workplaces, we'll have some workplace assessment that will look at the portfolios, projects, different presentations and things like that you're doing. And the employers will have a hand in helping to assess the performance in that regard. This is very basic. I'm going to slow down for just a minute, because I think you're going to want to read this more than hear me talk all about it. This is what your 4 years looks like. And you see all of the students start with the same general foundations in not only learning skills that are critical to the job and in things like programming or just familiarity with computer-based problem solving, but also things like teamwork and communication and software development, which is more on the business side that you're going to be working with. That's going to continue very much through the fundamentals in year 2. And by year 3, that's where we're seeing you split off into the different areas of interest. So whether that's software development or security specialization or data science specialization. Then in year 4, it's going to very much depend on the kind of job you're doing, the kind of courses. So year 3, we're going to talk about that is somewhat dependent on the position you're taking, because it is a conversation with the employer as to what stream you'll be in based on the job you're doing. But by year 4, you're starting to get really specific in terms of choosing the courses that are directly applicable to the work you're doing. So here are some of our partners. Obviously, Ceridian is there on this screen, and there's some other industry program design partners we're working with as well, and we'll be having presentations in the coming weeks to talk about some of those opportunities. But here's what it actually looks like. So hopefully the majority of the people in this room have applied and you're looking to find out more information about Ceridian, and that's fantastic that you're at the point that you have access to the job board and you're looking at positions. For those of you who have not applied, if you are a mature student or maybe you work, maybe you could be a Ceridian employee who's investigating an opportunity to look at this program, then applications, you can contact our admissions office to talk about applications for the coming cycle, although we are sort of mid-cycle at this point. Next January, we will open again for re-entry. From this point now, we're really looking at the interaction between the employers and the students. So we're trying to make the connections to make sure that we're helping the introductions and the application process as much as we can. And then a little later in the spring, that's when we're going to be starting to see job offers going out and then acceptances into the program. Again, if you have any questions about this, feel free to leave them in the Q&A, because I know I am moving a little fast to give Ceridian as much time as possible. And if you're watching this at home afterwards, please feel free to reach out to Lasand or to me directly with any questions you have about the program. So that's really my basic overview to give you an idea of what's going on. Really, what we like to say is you are earning while you learn. So you are quite literally, and it's really oversimplifying the program, but you are getting paid to attend and study and do the work in an on-the-job kind of way while you're learning. And it really ends that paradox. And a lot of you have heard me say this before if you've seen my other presentations, that it's this whole thing where to get into an entry-level position, they're looking for 1 to 2 years of experience, but how do you get that experience without getting into the entry-level position? This destroys that paradox, because while you're in school, you are getting that 1 to 4 years, well, 4 years of experience with a major tech company and employer, which is going to help you jumpstart your career really early on. You're also going to get access to all of the soft skills that you wouldn't get necessarily in the classroom. So, how to manage stakeholder expectations and agility and business communication, conflict resolution, all those things that happen in the office environment that don't necessarily take place in the classrooms. And I just want to remind you that you are gaining the competitive edge against other colleagues at other programs, some of your fellow students in other programs, because you are getting 4 years of work experience in addition to a Bachelor of Applied Science in Digital Technologies, which is a shorthand we use for computer science in this regard. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at ask@lasandschool, and we'll be able to answer any questions about the program, the opportunities, and of course, we're monitoring the Q&A right now, and we can answer questions live. Thank you so much. I'm sorry that was fast, but I do want to turn it over to Dennis so we can hear a little bit more about Ceridian. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Adam, for all of that. Now, the folks that everybody's been waiting for, and the reason why everybody's here today, pass it on to the Ceridian team.
Awesome. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Just give me 1 second. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Hi, everyone. Once again, my name is Amit Hoj, and I'll quickly walk you through agenda, and then I'll hand it over to my team to give you a quick overview of the company. So today we are going to discuss about the company overview, what Ceridian is, and what are the benefits of joining Ceridian as an intern. Then my cyber team is going to give you an overview what the group looks like. What are the different roles they have within cyber, and what exactly the student profile they're looking at, what the skills they want to target. And then we have an intern alumni journey session as well. So we have Hilary, who's going to talk about her journey. And in the end, we are going to discuss about the recruitment process and different timelines. So I'll pass it on to my colleague Tanveer to quickly walk you through the company overview. Over to you, Tanveer.
Awesome. Thanks, Amitoj. So you guys are all probably wondering what Ceridian is. So let me explain a little bit about what we do. Ceridian is a global human capital management software that makes work life better. This is achieved through our product called Dayforce, which provides human resources, payroll benefits, workforce management, talent management, all of the capabilities in one solution. So our platform helps companies manage their entire employee life cycle, from recruiting and onboarding to paying people and developing their careers. Ceridian provides solutions for organizations of all sizes, whether it's big global organizations or small businesses as well. Ceridian's brand promise is makes work life better. It embodies who we are, what we believe in, and what we stand for. We deliver on that promise by aiming to improve the work lives of our customers, their employees, and our own teams at Ceridian every day, and with everything that we do. So now moving on to locations. So we are a global company with locations in Australia, Singapore, China, Japan, UK, Germany, India, Mauritius, pretty much everywhere where you can think of, we are located. We have our Ceridian, our Canadian headquarters in Toronto, and our US headquarters in Minneapolis, Minnesota. In 2022, Ceridian's headcount increased from 5,000 employees to more than 7,000 employees worldwide. And this map really just encompasses how much we've grown in size and scope as our employees are located all across the world. Now I'll pass it over to my colleague Ramija, and she'll talk about our customers.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tanvir. So currently, we now have over 5,900 customers live on the Dayforce platform as of Q4 in 2022. Forward-thinking companies like Amazon, Accenture, and BlackRock are all organizations who believe in the power of an always-on people platform. We also have about 5 million employees across our customers' organizations live on Dayforce, with over 1 million of those active on our mobile app, which is a great testament to the strength and value of our mobile platform. Now moving on to the benefits of joining Ceridian. So you have the opportunity to have a job experience at a large global human capital management software company, where you will have hands-on and practical experience in managing cybersecurity tools and activities such as incident handling, security analytics, machine learning, user behavior analytics, database analysis, and risk-based strategic thinking. You also get the chance to be innovative. At Ceridian, we look to our employees to implement new processes and improve the way we do things every day. And we're certain bright students like yourself will bring in new ideas and better how we work tomorrow. There are also endless development opportunities, such as learning new skills through our Ceridian University, working on innovative projects, or gaining insight from a mentor who believes in your goals and ambitions. Speaking of mentors, you also get the chance to strategically build your professional network to help advance your career and develop meaningful relationships with your peers and colleagues. And most importantly, at Ceridian, we have fun. You have the opportunity to participate in exciting activities such as Ceridian social events and even our Capture the Flag security exercises. All in all, there are endless number of benefits waiting for you when you join Ceridian. I'll now pass it over to Amitoj to fill you guys in on some tips and tricks we have for your application and interview process. Over to you, Amitoj.
Thanks, Ramija. So now we're going to discuss about the tips and tricks for your application and for your interview. So this is one big question we get all the time, that how to prepare our resume, what are the things we need to keep in mind when making a resume, and then what different interview structure and cycle looks like, and how do we have to prepare for that. So starting with your application, make sure that first you update your resume. Talk about all the accomplishments to date and ensure that your document is saved as a PDF file and not as a Word file. Keep it concise. Aim for 1 to 2 page resume and use bullet points to highlight your accomplishments and skills, and keep your writing clear and to the point. Lastly, when you talk about the achievements, when describing your job duties and responsibilities, make sure that it's focused on accomplishments and results and not just the high-level bullet points of your day-to-day job responsibilities. And that's one thing which we do see very often in student resumes, that wherever they have worked in the past, so they never talk about accomplishments, but rather put like 10 to 15 pointers of the entire job description which they have done in the past. Highlight about the extracurricular activities. That's something really, very important. Talk about the leadership roles which you might have taken in your school to showcase your versatile skills and different initiatives which you have taken. And this can certainly help your application stand out than other students. Coming forward to the tips for your interview. First and foremost is learn about the organization. So go to Ceridian website, go to our careers page, and learn about what the value and vision is and what it takes to be a Ceridian employee. Demonstrate your impact. During your interview, show us how you contribute to overall success in your previous roles by using specific examples. So when you are giving specific responses, scenario-based responses, always make sure to use STAR approach. What is STAR approach method? Talk about the situation, introduce the scene and what the necessary details are. Talk about the task, what were the expectations and what were the challenges which were involved. What was the entire action which you took? What was the problem solving situation which you handled and addressed? And what is the end result? And what was the overall impact you could have led on that problem? So these are the 4 areas which we highly recommend whenever you are answering any behavioral question. So whenever you are coming up with any scenario-based response, so make sure that you're covering all these 4 different areas. Moving forward, now I'll hand it over to my cyber team. They will walk you through the cybersecurity group and what the internship is going to look like. So over to my colleague, Nathan.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm genuinely very happy to be here talking to you about the cybersecurity internship at Ceridian, because I personally can relate to this because I started my career as an intern in the cybersecurity/programming field like many years ago. But now I'm a senior director in this field. So there's significant growth and tons of opportunities. So if you're here and listening about cyber workforce, I personally think you're on the right track for a prime opportunity/career choice here. Let me jump on to the next slide, so where we can take a minute and talk about the cybersecurity program in general at Ceridian. So before I do that, maybe a brief background on why cybersecurity is crucial for business. If you look at today's digital world, cybersecurity has become an essential part of every company's strategy, whether it's sustainability, security, or growth. Cybersecurity is there. Because as the business grow, right, the demand for cybersecurity talent will continue to grow. And it's going to continue to evolve. So you might all ask, right, why there is growth for cybersecurity jobs. Imagine when an organization witnesses a cyber attack, the first thing is they're going to lose data. Second is they're going to lose money. And above all, they're going to lose trust of their customers. If there is no trust, there is no business, right? So to prevent all these dangerous cyber attacks, cybersecurity is implemented at many companies. So a lot of companies are realizing it now and investing the required budget, right, for cybersecurity program. But some have proactively done it, and I'm very proud to say that one of the top business priorities for Ceridian is cybersecurity. So I think we got early in the game and we continue to grow. Just in the last 2 years, I've hired close to 20 to 25 resources here at Ceridian, right, to build the team, and we continue to grow. So along those lines, right, Ceridian cybersecurity has various fields because we want to do this job effectively. So we'll touch on them briefly, and then specifically we'll focus on the two groups where we're looking for interns. So with the bird's eye view of the team structure, as an intern, you'll witness how security efforts integrate with other business operations. So starting from left to right, cybersecurity architecture group. Think of this team as who are deploying and building the security tools to protect the company. And then the governance, cybersecurity governance, they're responsible for defining the standard policies, and then the things that the various team within cyber needs to follow. They're also responsible to get some sort of attestation for our program, like ISO or NIST. There are a bunch of frameworks within cybersecurity, so they're more like a certification that the program gets. And then network security is also within cybersecurity organization at Ceridian, because we want to make sure our network is built with a security mindset. Hence, it's part of that cyber security here. And then the coolest team ever is cybersecurity operations team. That's my team. No offense, Dimitri. But anyway, we have a bunch of names for our group. Some people call us as SOC, Security Operations Center. Some people call us as Cyber Defenders, Cyber Avengers. So we have many names. So our job is we're on the front line, warriors, stopping threats, remediating them, analyzing threats. We also conduct phishing tests to our internal employees to find out who are susceptible to some of the phishing threats we get. And we have forensic experts as well in the team. So there's tons of opportunities, never a dull moment in the operations world. Maybe I'll hand it off to Dimitri as well. He can do a much better job to talk about this product security group and cover any other points I missed. Dimitri, off to you.
Thank you, Nathan. Again, great talking to all of you. I think if we can go back to the previous slide for just one more second. So very quickly on the product security side, I think Nathan done a great job, and I agree, security operations is tremendously important. They're really there to protect and detect if things go wrong. But if you think about product security, and this is a fairly new team within Ceridian, we're focused on preventing an attacks or preventing breaches of our data, making sure that trust, the customer trust that Nathan talked about, is protected and preserved, making sure that the applications that we build are built with security in mind, with security technology best practices that are all built into all the products that Ceridian builds for our customers. We work very closely with developments. Actually, majority of my team are ex-developers who have decided that they want to focus on cybersecurity, but they do all have a background in development, and we work closely to make sure that things like vulnerabilities you may hear in the space, SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and other web application specific vulnerabilities are not present in our applications, so that attackers cannot take advantage of those weaknesses. We're also quite heavily focused on cloud and making sure that the cloud applications, what we call native cloud applications, are built and deployed in a secure manner. So as you can think about us, we're really on the beginning of the development pipeline, and Nathan team is more there towards the end, where they're detecting if something that goes wrong, they're there, and we're trying to prevent an attacks to happen in the first place. I think we're ready for the next slide. Since I have the microphone, I'll talk quickly about a product security analyst and then hand it over to Nathan to talk through the cybersecurity analyst. So as a product security analyst, you will be working very closely with a number of security architects who are helping our development teams build secure software. You will understand a number of practices of how to develop and implement security within the applications, how to deploy secure applications. You will work on generating insights to understand the attack surface of the applications and how to protect them. It's a critical role within the product security organization, and would give someone in this role a really detailed understanding of how to build secure software products. I think with that, I'll hand it back to Nathan.
Excellent. Yeah, so if we can take a minute or two to talk about the cybersecurity analyst role as well. So from a job profile perspective, as a SOC analyst with this internship, it's going to help you develop your security investigation skills. You'll understand how a corporate environment operates and be ready for that, that full-time career, right? And then also above all, you're going to have access to many industry-leading security tools that are required, right, to protect the company. So this is one of the group, right, and among other security departments is who have access to 20 plus various security tools. So you will be learning about firewalls, you'll be learning about antivirus technologies, some cloud security technologies, automation. So there's like various technologies that you'll get exposure into, more hands-on knowledge, and you'll prepare you for a full-time job as well, right, once you finish up this internship. So from a day-to-day, the analyst will be trained to investigate various alerts, including phishing alerts. They'll be able to unpeel like a network traffic and find out if it's malicious or not. And you're going to leverage some of our automation technologies, right, when you're dealing with some sort of repeated security task. And then also we'll show you like how to launch a phishing test and how to test some of the users. So there are so many other things that you'll get exposure as part of this. And then from a career progression perspective, you have many options. Once you enter into cybersecurity operations, you can grow up the ladder within the cyber ops team, where you can go from analyst to threat hunting experts, where you're closely hunting for the bad guys within the environment. And at the same time, this team, right, will give you the basic skill set and foundation that you need to be a champion for other teams, right? Maybe you want to be an engineer, or you want to be like a governance or another different kind of officer within cybersecurity. But this team will give you that foundation that you need. And then mentorship, you'll be working with a global team. So that's a big skill to have, because a lot of companies you'll see they operate from one region or few regions. But at Ceridian, we're into different markets, different geographies. So you're going to get exposure to that global team. And then we have knowledge banks, training inventory, everything built for our team. So you'll get access to that. And then you'll be assigned to a buddy who can mentor you daily, and some expert leadership support as well. So with that, let's go to our next slide, where we can talk about a few skills that we are looking for. Again, it's not a rocket science, so I'm confident the interns can quickly get up to speed and start contributing to the team very quickly. And we're looking for somebody who can think critically and solve problems. And then my favorite one is somebody with a passion for cyber security. And added bonus is if you have done some security projects or case studies in your schoolwork, that'll be a great benefit for this internship. And then if you're a programmer, if you love programming, then I think Dimitri as the role for you, right? The product security analyst would be a good one. Again, if you can choose the correct security job that suits your area of expertise, would help you to be successful in this role. Maybe I'll pass it to Dimitri as well to talk about other skills that he may be looking for a product security role.
Yeah, thanks, Nathan. I think these are really highlighting the key skills that any professional in a technology arena would need. You know, critical thinking, identifying innovative ways to solve problems, to address issues. I mean, it's a critical skill that all of us in the workplace must possess. Analytical mindset, right? Looking and finding that needle in the haystack, analyzing issues in either for, working for Nathan's team, analyzing potential network traffic to find an attacker pattern for an attack, or analyzing, a set of vulnerabilities in the application, looking for ways to resolve them, and innovating through all of that, looking for new and innovative ways to understand how to best and most efficient way to address a problem. Programming is key. Understanding the basic principles of programming is very important, particularly for the role for a product security analyst. Certainly, we would teach a lot of the skills that you need through this program. I don't think you really have to be an expert or advanced level programmer to come into this program. There's many ways to learn, but an ability to be inspired by looking at code and looking at how to best solve problems in code, I think is critical item to really like being a product security analyst. And really at the end of the day, do you want to protect organizations from cyber attacks, from bad guys looking to breach data of customers? If you have those desires and skills, I think you'd be a great fit. I guess turning it back.
All right, and we're going to hand it off to Hillary, our super fantastic team member in the cybersecurity operations team. She joined as an intern and now a full-time employee within the team. And she had 2 successful terms as an intern, and now she's an SME in various projects where we rely on her skill set and capabilities. Hillary, off to you.
Yeah, so my name is Hillary again, and I'm kind of here to tell you about my experience as an intern at Ceridian, and how I got into cybersecurity in the first place. And I think I'm really here as a testament to how no matter where you're starting, if you want to end up in cybersecurity and you're interested in how to protect a business or how to protect yourself even, you can do it. So I started, my undergraduate degree was in psychology and philosophy, which is a far cry from cybersecurity and computer technology, but I'll get there. So I then went to graduate school in psychology and decided it wasn't for me. And so I joined the workforce after that, again, in an unrelated field. Then I decided after a few years of work that I wanted to go back to school. So it developed out of an interest of protecting myself and my family from cyber threats, as I saw that this was like an emerging trend, as Nathan was talking about earlier. I realized that this was going to be an important field for years to come. So I got an associate's degree in cybersecurity, and in my last semester, last semester of that program, I sat for my Security Plus exam, got my Security Plus certification, and then I was like, okay, this is when I need to start looking for the next step, and I saw a posting for Ceridian. So I applied, and then I interviewed and I got accepted, and it's been all upwards from there. And my experience with the team has been really, really enriching one. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the tools and technology that I get to work with every day. I think, as someone mentioned before, or Nathan, I think you mentioned, these are the industry leading tools that you're getting to work with right out of the gate. And it's not a position where you come in and you're getting anyone's coffee or like you're doing menial tasks. It's you're directly involved, and you're contributing to how the team is working and how efficiently they're working. So it's really nice to feel valued in that way, and be able to experience these tools. So we were working with tools from big names like Palo Alto, CrowdStrike, and Defender, Microsoft, obviously. So things that you're going to hear whether or not you decide to stay at Ceridian after your time here as an intern. Yeah, and as far as the overall experience working with the cyber team, it's very collaborative. You're never in a vacuum, and there's always support for there's different tiers of experience within the team. So anything that you want to get involved in, you just kind of ask, and there's someone who can mentor you for that. And yeah, I mean, if you have any specific questions for me about what my experience has been like, it's just been an overwhelmingly positive one. And I think that my decision to accept the full-time position was probably one of the best I ever did. So, yeah. And I don't know who I'm handing it off to.
It's me.
Well, actually,
yeah.
so sorry. If I could just jump in,
Sure.
I'm running Q&A, and Hillary, we just had some comments that your journey is amazing. And for the other questions that are coming in at the end, Ceridian, I believe you're going to be able to answer some questions about the program for these students.
Say again, sorry.
Sorry, there's time at the end for them to ask questions directly.
Oh,
is that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I just wanted to pipe in there, and just, you're really inspiring people, Hillary. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Tanveer. Thanks, Hillary. So lastly, we are going to talk about the application process and what different steps are involved, and then recruitment timelines. So starting with step one, make sure to review the job posting, and on the Digital Technologies webpage at LISON website, that's where we are going to post our job. Second, complete your application. create your profile as discussed, and then fill out the pre-screening questions. So with each job posting, we are going to have a set number of pre-screening questions, which we want all the students should fill in before submitting their applications. And to give you a high-level overview of the pre-screening questions, so it's going to be the level of education you have, previous experience related to cyber computing, programming. It can be any full-time experience, school projects, or any part-time experience which you might have done. What are some relevant skills you possess which aligns with this position? And how will this position help you in your career progression or in your different career and education goals? And then lastly, we have 2 behavioral questions related to problem solving and collaboration and teamwork. So before submitting an application, take your time, make sure that you submit your responses as discussed, scenario-based responses with STAR approach. And then the next step is interview with the team. So once the Luzon team shortlist, begin the interview process, then the early talent team, we are going to do the first virtual interview with you. And then once we proceed and again shortlist your application for the next round, then it's going to be the interview with the hiring team, which will comprise of analytical and problem solving questions. I would say a bit technical, but more to do with the analytical and problem solving side. And if you have previous computing background, we will certainly talk about that as well. And the last step is once we extend the offers and once you have accepted it, we will begin your onboarding process and we'll keep you posted with all the next steps. Then lastly, moving forward with the different recruiting timelines. Perfect. So the job posting is going live on March 20th, and we are giving you 10 days to apply, to review the job, to look at all the different skills which are required and what we have discussed today. And it's going to be open until March 31st. The screening process will begin in the week of April 1st. And then first round of interviews by the early talent team will be done in the week of April 10th. And the hiring team interviews will begin in the week of April 17th. And the final results will be out in the week of April 24th. We might have to push the final results if there is any delay in any of those specific interview cycles, but most likely the May 1st week will be the last when we are planning to extend the final results and offers. So that's what the different recruitment timelines looks like. And I'm happy to answer any specific questions which you might have. Adam, you can direct any questions to us and to my cyber team as well in case you have any technical questions. But thank you so much once again for joining the session.
Perfect. Thanks. Sorry, Adam, were you going to jump in there?
No, I didn't. Go ahead, Dennis. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Also, thank you to the Ceridian team. That was a lot of information, and I think that definitely covered a lot of questions that we've seen in the past from students. So I think you all did a really good job, and I guess special shout out to Hillary too. I think as a current student, I know what it's like to not know what you want to do once you graduate, and it's really comforting to know that there are other people that have gone into their undergrad wanting to do one thing, and then they graduate and they realize that's not really the field for them, and they find out that, oh, there's another field that they'd love to do instead, and that everything still ends up working out. So thank you again, Hillary, for sharing your story. I think it's really inspiring for not only undergrad students, but also high school students and everybody else. Now we are going to go through the Q&A. There are some questions in the chat. First, I'd just like to address some questions that were asked before the session. These are also some common questions that weren't addressed in the Q&A. So the first question, and I think this would probably be best for Hillary. A lot of students are curious, what is life like as an intern at Ceridian? And what was life like during the pandemic? And then now that you're probably back in person, what was life like in the virtual / in-person / hybrid world?
Yeah, so I'm actually still remote. The closest office location to me is 2 hours away, so I'm still remote, but it's been great. Life is, it can be, I mean, full disclosure, it can be hectic. You know, you're dealing with lots of alerts that are coming in, and you know, it kind of, you can sometimes feel the pressure of like how high stakes it is if if the business is compromised and you're trying to work as quickly as possible to rectify that. But I would say that the biggest advantage is being part of the team and knowing that like even if it is stressful, there's the support for you. And Ceridian does a really good job of that, our team especially. So I value Ceridian for it, the making work life better motto that it has, and they definitely appreciate work life balance. And even working remotely, you're always going to be in collaboration with your teammates. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Great, thanks, Hilary. And I was actually wondering if anybody else from Ceridian would like to share what the in-person life is like at Ceridian, just to get a little bit of a different perspective. This is open to anybody too.
I'm working virtually since the day I joined, so I'm not the best person to comment on that. Dimitri, Nathan, have you guys been working in the office since you joined? Any comments on that?
Well, so Ceridian is actually very heavy remote company. So we have majority of our employees are continue to be remote. We sort of adapted the remote and a hybrid workplace even before the pandemic. So if you are close to an office, if you're in a Toronto area, for example, we're happy for you to come in and meet the employees that are in the office. But we generally do not enforce any level of in-office work. So it is up to our employees to make a decision. If they're close to the office, they're welcome to come in, socialize with other employees. But if they are away from the office and it's a long drive or an impossible drive, like for me, I live in California, we do not ask employees to actually come into the office.
Yeah, I'll echo what Dimitri mentioned. I think if you're if you're the person who loves water cooler talk type of situation, then we compensate, right, by conducting some team building activities, or there could be like some in-person team meetings, and a bunch of other activities that we try to do virtually too. Yeah, thank you.
Great, thanks for clarifying that. There have also been some questions about the application process. I was wondering if anybody could share a little more about just the details of how exactly, not only how many interviews, but also what each interview would go through, and then if different postings would have different interviews, just if anybody can share some information about that.
Sure, definitely. I'll put some light. So starting with the application process, then if you can go to the next slide. Perfect. As in when you have submitted your job posting, so first we are going to screen your profiles based on the pre-screening responses which you have submitted, all the text responses along with your resume. And then the first round of interviews, as I mentioned, will be conducted by the early talent recruitment team, and it's going to be behavioral interview questions, and it's not going to be technical. And after that, once you have passed the first interview round, we are going to present you to the hiring team. And then the hiring team interview will comprise of a couple of technical questions related to problem solving, analytical skills. And as I mentioned before, if you have any previous computing background or any previous cyber background, then certainly we might even highlight that experience as well and ask you questions based on that specific experience. And lastly, the results. So we will take 1 week's time before extending the final results, and we will directly be sending you the virtual e-offers, and you have 3 to 5 days to accept the final offer. If there's anything specific you want to know, I'm happy to share.
Thanks. There were also some questions about if there were any good ways about how to prepare for the analytical interviews, as well as how to prepare for the problem-solving questions. I don't know if you'd be able to share any information about that, or if that's more of a secret.
Not sure, Nathan, if you want to highlight on what the hiring team interview structure is going to look like, but a high-level overview.
Yeah, great question there. So, like I said, we're not going to look for that, full expert skills in this field. So we're going to look for that, your experience. You're somebody who's showing that passion for this field. So if you're looking for some hints here, I think try to bring up some of your experiences that you had in the past, where you encountered a situation and how you solved that problem for a situation using some of the problem solving techniques, or talk about a project as well, any technology projects that you picked up and how you implemented end to end would be a good one, where it touches a lot about your analytical thinking there, and also how you manage the situation overall. So there's a lot of bits and pieces that we will learn about you during that discussion. So I feel the hiring team interview is going to be more like a discussion-based type of interview, where we can talk about your experiences, and then that'll help us understand your problem-solving skills. Dimitri, anything to add from your perspective?
I think you covered it really well. I would say, think through your achievements. What can you really share to stand apart from others? Think of things maybe you've done outside of school, outside of a workplace, where you were, helpful or creatively solved some problems. I think we're looking for creativity, innovation, and really an ability to come in, understand, a quick learner, how you maybe learned something really quickly and was able to contribute either to a project, to a school project, or to some other aspect of kind of your life. And so I think that's kind of the key areas which we would be evaluating candidates on.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying that. Adam, I know there was a question in the Q&A that you wanted to take live. Would you like to go over that one?
Well, there were just a couple that I was highlighting, and I thought a really interesting one was if you could talk a little bit more about some of maybe the soft skills that you have all at Ceridian taken away from your jobs in terms of cybersecurity analysts. I think you've talked about a lot of those, but maybe just a generalist impression, I think, is what the student's looking for about skills that might not have been necessarily technical in nature.
Yeah, I'll be happy to take that. I think it's really important to have a really good communication skills, right? Be able to clearly describe, maybe a problem, or clearly describe a solution that you're trying to understand or trying to implement. I think communication and interpersonal skills. So being able to be a good listener, right? Be able to really let people communicate to you, and you're kind of understanding the information. And then that I think those are critical skills at any organization for any job is that active listening, those interpersonal skills, communication skills. Computers are helping us right nowadays, and we're all sitting in front of a keyboard, right? But the way we communicate is extremely important. Nathan, do you have anything to add?
No, that's pretty much it. You covered it very well. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks for going over that. There's also a question about the product security and cybersecurity operations positions. There's just a bit of confusion as to whether the product security and cybersecurity operations positions, whether they'd be two separate positions, or whether the student would be rotating between the two positions throughout their 4 years.
These are two separate positions. We are certainly going to look for opportunities to cross-train and allow students to kind of get exposed to different teams in different disciplines, but these are two separate positions within each of the organizations: cybersecurity, operations, and product security.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for clarifying. There's also been a few questions about, let's say you're a high school student, might not necessarily have a lot of experience in the role that you're applying to, but you're still very passionate and you're still very excited and you want to learn more. If you're a student like that might not actually have a lot of experience in that field, what can they do to still be competitive and to still put themselves in a good position to get hired in any one of these roles?
I'll take this one. So when I started as an intern, if I look back on it, I feel like I didn't really know a lot. And that I will say that like my time as an intern made me more okay with that. It was like, I think that the willingness to learn was the most important part of doing well at Ceridian and in the cybersecurity team. But what you can do to kind of stand out still is just, talk about times where you solved problems and how you solved them, where it's more important to understand like how your brain approaches a problem than to have all the answers right away, because I can tell you right now that none of us have all the answers. So yeah, I would just say highlight your achievements and don't sell yourself short, because I think that's something that a lot of new candidates will do. So that's my advice.
Perfect. Thanks, Hilary. I think also as an intern, I actually agree with that you're not going to know everything and you never will. It just feels like you don't know everything now, but as you get older, you realize you'll never know everything. The internet is a very strong and powerful tool with Stack Overflow, and now we've got ChatGPT that's kind of making the reins. So I guess being resourceful is one common suggestion that I've heard a lot. But thanks again, Hilary. I think there's another question for you, Hilary, and it's, what's a day or I guess a week like in the life of a Ceridian intern or a student working at Ceridian?
So a typical day would be logging in, through an intense process of authentication, logging in, and then I'm just immediately jumping into queue, checking my emails, responding to those. And then, during my downtime, I'm working on some of the longer term projects that I've been tasked with. So during my time here at Ceridian, I've been involved in performance and risk indicator projects where I'm, creating this dashboard that, goes all the way up to executive leadership, that kind of captures the security team's metrics that, how we're doing, how well we're doing. So, and that's, kind of going back to how I was saying, you're directly involved, and it's just, you may have the title of an intern, but you're just, you're another employee, and you have the same opportunity as everyone else. So, in addition to that, I have been launching our monthly phishing simulations and presenting the data in another Power BI dashboard for that. So I would say that it's equal parts just minding the queue and working on projects, the long-term projects that are going to make the team work more efficiently and grow the cybersecurity program.
Thanks,
Does that
Hilary.
answer the question?
I think so. I think it's a really good job. So it is 6:01. I'm going to do one last question, and then I think we'll call it a day. There have been a few questions about whether Ceridian has any data analytics positions available.
Yes, we do. And we are working on the job posting right now, and hopefully by March 20th. That's when we are hoping to post that job as well. So we'll keep you posted on it. And I believe the operations team, they can certainly provide a high level overview once it goes live. We are just waiting on a couple of final confirmations. But yes, we are going to hire for data scientist intern as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I'd just like to say thank you to Adam, as well as all of the Ceridian team, for giving everybody so much information. I really hope everybody enjoyed it. I think there was definitely a lot of very useful resources, very useful advice, and kind of it gave everybody a good idea of what life would be like as a digital technology student working at Ceridian. They could kind of imagine it. And I guess because a lot of it is remote, they can actually kind of picture it. It's almost like we're in a Ceridian meeting right now. But I think we're going to end it for today. Does anybody from the Ceridian team, would you like to kind of wish anybody good luck, or do you have any parting words for our students before we head out?
I just want to say a big thank you for your time, and I think you're on the right track here, but at least showing interest in listening to this conversation. But one thing I would add, right, the ability to make a difference in this world is by protecting people and businesses from cyber threats. So if you're looking for that kind of satisfaction, I think cybersecurity is the track, right, where it gives you that satisfaction. So with that, thank you again.
Perfect. Thank you. And thank you again to everybody watching. Just another reminder, this session is also recorded. So if you did miss anything or forgot anything, please feel free to come back and check it out again. We'll also be sending out emails to any of the students whose questions were not answered. Without further ado, thank you again, everybody, for your time. Take care, and hopefully we'll see you again.
Thank you so much. Have a good
Thank
one.
you. Take
Bye.
care.
Thanks all.